How's it going, everybody? Adam here from Coding Basics, and welcome to tutorial number 4 in my Lambda Expressions in Java 8 series. Last tutorial, we went over filtering and how we can use Lambda expressions or predicates inside that filter method. In this video, we're going over mapping. Now, what is mapping? Mapping is taking an object and then, well, I hate using the word in the definition, but you're taking an object and mapping it to another value. So, if that doesn't make sense, this tutorial should hopefully clear that up. What we are going to do here, I've created this list that contains these player objects. I created a player class. This takes in the constructor first name, last name, and a number. So, what we are going to do is when I stream this, going through the pipeline is going to be player objects. Each one of these player objects is what's going to be traveling through the pipeline. But through mapping, we're going to get the numbers, or say the name. So even though the pipeline started with player objects going through it, through mapping we can make it so that there is a stream of numbers or strings. So mapping is just taking an object and specifying a new type of value to it. So, first things first, though, as usual, I'm going to go over how this would have been done in Java 7. So, what we are going to do is we're going to go through and just print out every player number. So, I'm just going to print out a quick message so we can see where one ends and one begins, one ends. So, system.out.print line, and I'm just going to say non-lambda. Alright, now how do we do this in Java 7 or Java 6? Well, we're using a list here and we want to print it each player object's number. So we're going to use a for loop for this, and I'm going to say for player P colon players. So take every player object of the list players, and then for each one, all it's going to do is system.out.println and print out. So just print out a number symbol and then the player's number. So P dot, and I called this variable number. So P dot number. Oops. P dot number. So here, now when we run it, it prints out every player object's number. And that's how we would have done it in Java 6 and 7. So, might not seem like a lot, 3 lines of code, but there is a cleaner way of doing this, and we're only accessing the number here. Using Lambda expressions, you can do a lot more. So, in this case, for the Lambda expression, I'm going to do system dot out dot print line. We'll leave a space between the non-lambda and the lambda output, just to show that we do get the same results both ways. Alright, for the lambda expression, this one we're not defining anything. You'll remember in the filtering one where I went over pipelines. The terminal operation is the last operation performed on the stream, and it just performs a non-stream result. That doesn't mean it has to create a new variable like a string or something. It can print something out. It can just execute a function. It can pretty much do anything as long as it's not a non-stream result. The stream has to end at some point. So, for this one, we're going to stream the players list. So players dot stream dot map. So this is where the mapping comes in. So what we're going to do here, we're going to use a lambda expression. For each one that comes in here, we want to take the player object and then create a stream of the player numbers. So in this case, we're going to map, just create a random variable name. I'm going to call it x, and we're mapping it to x dot number. There. And now we just got to finish this off. So there's also a method that you can use with streams called for each. And in here, we're just going to say for each, I'll use x again. For each x, system dot out dot print line, and the exact same thing. We'll just put a little number symbol, a space, and then here plus x. So that is the way of doing it with mapping. So let's run it just to make sure. And there we go. Should be working. So it starts with 87, yep, and it goes to number 71 and 58. And then we go to 26, 11, 8, and 6, yep. So exact same result. This way is much more concise, much more functional, easier to read. One thing I've seen people do, I'm not a big fan of this, because then it looks like it's taking up more lines, but some people divide each intermediate in each terminal operation just by separating them from the rest of the line, which you might like that better. I'm not sure. You can do that if you want, just to make it easier to read. So, you know, kind of more of a list. Then you stream it first, then map it, then run the for each method. So that's another thing you can do. But definitely more concise way of doing it. Not really the greatest example, considering this is 3 lines, but if you were trying to get more out of it, or do more with it, you know, do some math in here instead of just printing it, it would be a lot more concise to go this way for sure. This way doesn't really matter too much, because you're only cutting down on 2 lines of code, but when you're doing a bulky or a big large-scale program, it'll help your code be less bulky. Now, the only thing I'm going to add in here, I mentioned in an earlier video that there are different types of mapping. We save the number variable in here as an integer. So instead of just calling map, why not say map to int? Especially when you're doing math, it makes the lambda expression more efficient because it knows it as an integer that it's going for. So that is all I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to run this again, just once again show you that it works. There you go. So that's all I want to talk about in this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Remember to comment on the video, like the video, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.